Okay, we are in the middle of the fourth midah, which is called לשארית נחלתו. Just to remind you what we learned, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu relates to Klal Yisrael not just as his creations, but as she'er basar li imahem. She'er is a lashon of sha'ar, an extension of himself. The words that we use is that the Klal Yisrael are the nerve endings of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the condition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which makes some sense because on some level it makes sense that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us b'tzelem Elokim, and He created us with the neshama, and we're not just the shluchim, hired hands in this world to be able to do Hashem's ratzon in this world, but deeper than that, we're an extension of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The part of HaKadosh, the b'tzelem Elokim, is such that He created us to do His work. We are doing His work, so we're the ones that have to act godly in this world because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us to do the chesed that He wanted to do by creating the world. So that's the svara here. So hence she'er basar. So it's not just like you hire somebody. Look, you're my man. Work for me. It's more than that. He Kiviyachol clones himself on some level in this world as its same b'tzelem Elokim, because we're the ones that are. So it's not like God walking around in this world as a human. That's not a Jewish idea. But what is a Jewish idea is that every person is created b'tzelem Elokim. Every person created b'tzelem Elokim, and the purpose of b'tzelem Elokim is to work the bria. To work the bria, as it's b'tzelem Elokim. Different idea, really a different idea. And the she'er comes out in many different lashonis of the Torah. Sometimes Hashem calls us, Biti, B'ni, Avinu Malkeinu, different relationships, but they're all Yisrael Am Kiroivoi. Mamish kurva yesh leimaim upanov heim. Ainu l'she'eris nachlas, and this is what Micha was alluding to when he was talking about l'she'eris nachlas. We're not just his. So we have like in language that we're very very familiar with these days is Avinu Malkeinu. There's a getter of Avinu. There's a getter of Malkeinu. There's a getter of im kivanim, im kavodim. Im kevanim. So vanim means that we're like mamish she'er basar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and avodah means we're working. So even if we're not sort of like hooked up that way, like kibanim, should be kavanim. But the real relationship is a relationship of ben. And therefore Hashem says, Ma'oimar imanisham harei ke'ev alai. So the fact of the matter is it causes Hashem pain when we're in pain because we're hooked up. We're attached. It's a nerve ending. An extremity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are the extremities of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So even if you were blessed or cursed with a hand that goes out, Yada Richta, which goes out 50 feet from your body, Sof Kosof, doesn't make any difference. If you hurt your finger, if you prick your finger, it's going to hurt the person himself. So in that sense, b'tzelem Elokim means that we are his neshama. And it needs a little bit more hesber, I think. But let's try to. It's another meaning. When I say it needs hesber, it means there's a concept. It's a nice idea that we're children of Hashem. But what is it? It doesn't mean biologically. So what does it mean? There's another nice concept that we're all brothers. If we're all sons, then we're all brothers. Everybody in the world is brotherhood. Brotherhood. Right? Beautiful. Achva. Achdus. All comes from lashon of ach. Brotherhood. But Okay, but wo steht das? Like, where does it actually say someplace? It's a nice idea, right? We're all brothers, brotherhood. But where does it actually say it? So the first step is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Av. There's this mishpacha relationship. Kiddusiv b'chol tzarasam lo yitzar. We learned about the Pelel Elyon. So let's go to where we're holding now. And I think we're going to go back and understand. Kacha adam im chaveri. The same thing is man and his fellow man. Kol Yisrael heim she'er basar elu im elu. Every person, every Jew. Why Jew? First of all, why Jew? Because Jews, the whole world comes from Adam Harishon. Right? Everybody's created b'tzelem Elokim. Let's think of the Mishnah Pirkei Avos. Everybody in Klal Yisrael is created in the image of Hashem. B'tzalmenu kinusenu baras Adam. Chaviv in Yisrael shenikroim. What does it say? Banim. So everybody's b'tzelem Elokim. And what we're learning, the Pshat is Tzelem Elokim means that we're all an extension of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We even look like HaKadosh Baruch Hu on some level. Tzelem Elokim. But then Klal Yisrael, somewhere along the line, accepted this as a mission. At Har Sinai, Klal Yisrael accepted it as a mission. So Chaviv in Yisrael is a special Chavivus of Klal Yisrael. Sh'nikroim Banim L'Malka. Everybody could be Banim L'Malka. I'll tell you a bigger Chiddush. Everybody will be Banim L'Malka. The Navi says Mefurish that when Mashiach comes, eventually, I don't know the first time Mashiach comes, but when Mashiach comes eventually, he'll make everybody Am Echad. Everybody will become Am Echad. Aholchim Acher Hashem. So this whole distinction, really, between Jew and non-Jew has to do with what we accepted. But if there will be Hu Yashmienu Shenis Barachim Leinei Kolchai Li'Yislachem Lelakim. That's what it means. Hu Yashmin, there's going to be a second chance. One chance was Har Sinai, where Hashem went around to all the nations of the world. We want to deal with ourselves. We don't want to be part of the family. But Hu Yashmienu Shenis is going to be a second Maimed Har Sinai, if you will. A second Hu Yashmienu. There's going to be a second calling from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, second time that he's going to let us hear. And again, we're going to choose. And this time, Hu Yashmienu Shenis La'enei Kolchai Li'Yislachem Lelakim. So that Kedusha is very, very special because it talks about a time, which the Nevi'im speak about, that we'll all be together. So, Kol Yisrael heim sher basar elu imelu. So now Yisrael, in the meantime, we're all related. We're all extensions of each other by virtue of the fact that we're all brothers. Mibnei shanashamayis klulais yachad. Yesh b'zeh chelik zeh u'b'zeh chelik zeh. Because the neshamos really are all one. Yesh b'zeh chelik zeh u'b'zeh chelik zeh. This one has a chelik in that, and that one has a chelik in the other one. L'kach. And therefore he says, I can explain to you based on this yisoid. Einu doimim rubim hoisim esam mitzvah. V'chol zeh mipnei klulosam. It's all because of their klulosam. And he brings around a number of illustrations where you see this is true. The aside that he's saying, though, let's just be academic for a moment. The aside that he's saying is something that the Mekubalim repeat often, and that is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created one neshama haklula, created one neshama, one big neshama. Layav ben David ad she yichle haneshamos shebeguf, is that the lesson? That one neshama, and everything comes from that neshama. So what our neshamas are, walking around with the neshama. So what our neshamas are pieces of the one big neshama. But it starts one neshama. Like al derech, to understand it is like everybody knows. It's even printed on wedding invitations that a bashert, husband and wife, chassan and kala, are really two halves of one whole. So if everybody's two halves of one whole, and then they're coming together in this world, beautiful, two neshamas become one neshama. But the chiddush is much bigger than that. It's not just that one neshama busts apart into two in the world of Yetzirah, like everything broke apart, and now under the chuppah you're bringing it back together. Let's say something more, that all the neshamas are one, started off as one neshama, maybe all the neshamas started as one neshama, and then they broke into millions and millions of pieces, and here we are as individuals. That's the Kabbalim say this over and over and over again. There's a neshama aklula, and the neshama aklula it breaks into individual neshamas. Once you understand that, we can understand that we're all connected, meaning we're all coming from one part. And it's not like a stone that breaks up into 1,000 pieces if you put it under a stone breaker. Whatever. It's not kipatish yifoitzitzela because it's organic, it's alive. So now all the different parts of the neshama are all parts of one, and therefore they're all connected. The question is, like who said that this is so? Where does it say? But what's the makor that Hashem created one neshama, and then the neshamas broke up into a lot of different neshamas? What's the source for this? Must say it someplace if all the Kabbalah say. Svarim. Like. So it's interesting. So I looked to try to find a clear. It should be a Zohar place, Parshas Bereishis or something. It should be something, So at least the teaching of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that everything starts off with one neshama, then it breaks apart. I can't find it. I looked. I couldn't find any makar in Chazal for this idea. Which, when it comes to these ideas, I'm always suspicious of its source. I just like to find a Chazal to. It's a fantastic insight. It's said over and over again. If I tell you 100 places where it says that the neshamas are all one, and then they break up into a bunch of different neshamas, like a husband and wife, but more. So the big chuppah is when Mashiach comes. We all come together. It doesn't say in Tanakh. It doesn't say in Chazal that I know of. I even asked yesterday two strong Mekubalim, what's the makar? And they both showed me a makar, and neither one of them said it. As that Sefer told us, Adam, Haroloi Dor V'Dorsha, Dor Parnasim. So, okay, what?
Isn't that the basis of everything? That it starts with one, breaks up, and then...
The Gashmias. So you have to, right? In other words, so it's a svara. It's a svara. What you're saying is the basis of everything. It's a svara. The svara is Hashem made only one Adam Arisha. And from that one Adam Arisha came out Jews and Chinese and whites and blacks and Caucasians and all kinds of things. Right? Like I said, everything came out from that one Adam Arishan. Not trees, not plants, not rabbits, but all of humans come from that Adam Arishan. So too, says the Svara, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created only one neshama. And if he created only one neshama, because he only created one Adam Arishan, it was a big neshama, let's say. So he created an Adam, which could be, just like Mirz Hashem, you and I will have eventually thousands and thousands of descendants. So what we understand somehow Begashmius is, a lot of people speak this way, particularly women. When a baby's born, has your grandfather's eyes. What do you mean?
But that's not in the Shema.
What happened to it? Where do you get it from?
That's not in Shema, though. That's the
that's the goof. That's the goof. So you can understand, just like you understand by the goof, right? I have my grandmother's eyes. I often think it would be so interesting to see, if I could trace back, find out, and get a picture of your 25 generations back, your great grandfather. Lahavdil, like George Bush, traced his lineage to some great warrior in the Middle Ages. I was like you knew exactly how to use which chart. Probably looked just like him. Probably lost wars just like him. It's genetic, it's there. But now we got to carry that chiddush over to the neshama and say, okay, come on, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam Rishon, one person, not even the Isha came from him, right? Even the Isha came from him, that was Acharad Asira. So you have to say also that the neshama of the Isha that came from him was half of his neshama. Now when they had Kain and Hevel, so now it's breaking down. So the neshama, it's sort of the breakdown in a positive way, but the break up, let's say, not break down, but break up. The break up of the neshama are all little pieces, but of the same neshama. Do you hear? It's a svar. I don't think it says it anywhere in Chazal, but it's a milsa de Bestavra. It's like the Goin says. I don't know if doctors back it up or not, but the Vilna Goin writes that if you'll take any piece of skin and you'll know how to look at it properly under a microscope, you will see everything about the person. Because that's a shtickle person there. You'll see everything about the person. You'll see their eyesight, you'll see their IQ, you'll see everything about, you'll see their kidney failure. You'll see everything about the person in that one piece of skin. There are holistic doctors that claim to be able to do this, or they look into your eye, they can tell you everything about you. Because every part, this is the Goin writes in the Maaseh, every part of the Adam is manifested in every part of the Adam. So you can take anything. You take a piece of tissue, take a piece of ear, take a piece of saliva, take whatever you want. It's all there. Everything is there. So if we understand it, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But whether I mean, it's true. The gross is whether everybody knows how to do that, I don't know. But now we're taking it and we're moving it to the world of neshamas, which is not a grace sprug. It's not like a lodora. That it's a svar that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created one neshama. Now, like Kipate Shifai Sela, we're all parts of that neshama. Organic part, living parts.
The eye is different because it's the only time we can look inside and see the internal workings of the body. Looking into the eye.
Well, you're an ophthalmologist.
Yes.
Okay.
My bread and butter, yes.
Yes. But if you would be a foot doctor, I'd say that, from your cord, I see your brain. Yeah, you examine somebody who has flat feet. Now I understand why you sing that way. It's like everything by you is flat. That's the neshama. Like, I just want to point this out. Like, let's not take it for granted because it's too good to take for granted. It's too choshev to take for granted. Just to meditate on the idea that there was one adoration, one neshama. That neshama is what the Mekubalim seem to take for granted was the neshama haklali. And once you have the neshama haklali, so for shteitzich, all neshamas are part of that neshama. Now, if all neshamas are part of that neshama, so in a certain way, as much as all the neshamas, pieces of the neshama, let's say we are separate, at the same time, we're really come from one place, so there should be an attachment. So we're talking about the other day that you take a husband and wife. So that's like everybody. It's romantic. So everybody knows this. That that the husband and wife come. If it's a real shidduch, the husband and wife come from one neshama and breaks apart. So even though it broke apart, but the idea is the idea is to come together again. So there's an idea of why is there an idea to come? Because the neshama wants to be together. So it's the same thing if you'll extend the concept to all of Klal Yisrael, all of mankind, there has to be something special about the world coming together. So it's achdus at a very deep level. In fact, I tell you something with achdus. I might have said this. Forgive me, but when it comes to achdus, this is the only chance we have. There's not, it's not likely that people that feel so differently about things and have their derech, this is my derech, this is the Am. It's not likely that they're going to come together down here so much. But I mean, there's something about the fact that we're all brothers. So we all came from the same neshama. So if we all came from the neshama, so let's l'chol hapachas be ma'ached over here. There is this thing we're all part of the same whole. We're all pieces of the same whole, and maybe started from there. So when Mashiach comes, it's going to be like a big marriage. Where the pieces are coming together.
It's fascinating that the experiments that they've done with twins who have not even known each other. One of them gets hurt, the other one feels it.
Yes.
So in some way, we all have nevuah within us too.
Well, I don't know, but here we're saying better. It doesn't have to be nevuah. It's not like nevuah, which is like some kind of an outside gift. It's not just. It's like the nurture nature thing. So the nurturing makesher, like they didn't even know you had a twin brother. But the nature of the thing is that we're connected. So once we understand that can be connected, the experiments, Dafka the Nazis, Yimach Shemam did these, are the ones that uncovered this Nakuda, I think. But just like it's true with twins, you can extend it to brothers, not twins, but you're not going to feel it as strongly. And I can extend it to my neighbors, but I'm not going to feel it as strongly. My enemies, it's true also, but I'm not going to feel it as strongly. Goyim, but I'm not going to feel it as strongly. But it's there. The Metzius is that it has to be there, because if you believe that Hashem only made Adam Rishon, then everything comes from Adam Rishon. So that's Kulanu. So people like to say, like sarcastically, people that are not zochet to be great grandchildren of the of Reb Chaim Tzanzer or the Baal Shem Tov. So we all come from Avram Avinu. Okay, like everybody likes to say, but it's sort of like a kind of a silly, sarcastic comeback to a very important thing. I have yichus, you don't.
It's a fallback.
Yeah, it doesn't help in the shidduch to be great grandchildren of Avram Avinu. Meaningless. But the fact of the matter is that in reality there's truth to it. In reality, we are b'nei Avram. I'll tell you something else. We're b'nei. We're not b'nei Hevel. I mean, we came from Adam Rishon, so when Cain killed Hevel didn't have any children, so that was that with that part of the neshama. There's a whole piece of neshama there that's missing. It's a whole piece of neshama. On the other hand, who is our ancestor? Shes and Cain, because everybody, all of mankind, comes from a combination of Cain and Shes, because Noach married who? Very good. You wrote a book. Noach married Naamah. Naamah was from Tuval Cain, and Noach was from Shes. So you have the two came together again, and Yatsa Kol Olam Kulo, and Shem Cham V'Yafas, Yatsa Kol Olam Kulo. So like we're all already choser in the neshama, but l'chol hapachos for sure. Cain and Shes are together in Noach and Naamah, and therefore Shem Cham V'Yafas, which are like the Semites and the Chamai. I mean, it's so different, but there's some kind of a brotherhood that's there. So, but again, I just want to repeat, it doesn't say it anywhere clearly. However, it seems to be a davar pasha. Well, I'll tell you where it says it clearly in the Ramak. Right here. We just said it clearly here because he's the Rebbe of the Arizal. So if we would have the Arizal, say, before the Arizal. This is before the Ramak, that this is the case. I don't see it earlier source personally. Yeah.
That would explain the tremendous outpouring of Akhdut after the kidnapping.
Yes. Yes.
Xadoshim.
Yes. It's. I'll tell you something also ironic that and I just want to. I'm saying all this as a hakdama, and something I want to explain here that I think is extremely important. But there's two things here. If there's one neshama, like everything in the world, the neshamas are in the world of bria, atzilus, bria. Yitzira, Asiya. So Bria, everything is Echad. Once it comes to Yitzira, everything, that's when everything, Yitzira over Choshech. It starts off everything's Choshech, let's divide the light. Tgiya, Shvarim, Tgiya. You have the one Pashat, and then it breaks up, the breakdown. That's an important thing, scientific process, if you will, of, like we said last week, like Alam, then not everything's the same. Different. Shem she partzufeim and every person is different. It's a wonderful thing to appreciate. But that's what we're appreciating there, that every person is an individual, is the Alma de Piruda. There we're appreciating the Pirud. But let's not forget that as much as we're all individuals, we're also all connected up here. So to put it in Kabbalistic terms, to make it easier, we're all connected in the world of Bria, and we're all separated in the world of Yitzira, and even more separated in the world of Asiya. So it's very interesting that the same, what I kept on feeling when these boys, Melech, were kidnapped and killed, and you see the outpouring from everywhere in Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz. So everyone said, you see, there was finally some achdus. You saw there's finally some feelings. We're Jewish. We're finally acting Jewish, meaning like we're actually feeling the pain of people that are different than us. So let me tell you one of the worst things I ever heard in my life. I want to hear it. The kid was telling me that that one of the kids did Rosh Hashanah, everything. Zigzar, Rosh Hashanah, Yikasevu, Yom Kippur, Yikasevu. So the kid said, like, where's the Yosher? How could it be that these three kids? He was this raggish. I mean, we all went through a rough year over here. We say Gacheda, we daven, we said Tillah. How could it be the three Yeshiva Bachar killed? So the Rabbi said, no, they're not real. Like Dati Lubi. Like, remind yourself, you know what it was to restore this kid's faith in Hashem? Possibly Rabbi Chayavisa. It's possible. Not because of this shita, that shita. But just how stupid people are and how connected HaTorah it is. First of all, even if we goyim, how can you? When there was that big tsunami, and they found Rav Nebenzahl was packing his bags. They said, where's the Rav going? He says, I'm trying to get a flight to go help rescue people from the tsunami. They didn't let him go. So it don't matter. Like they didn't let him go. He said, people are suffering under a rock someplace or half drowned. Who doesn't have enough rights to go and save them? Okay, and maybe it's not orthodox. I don't know, but it's so shallow, and since it's so shallow, it's so ugly. But the emes is that the same thing that's goyrem, the achdus, is goyrem the pirud. You understand what I'm saying? Because it starts echad here, and this we can get stuck in the world of Yetzirah where it's pirud. So that would be like a husband and wife sitting and defining their differences all day long, and saying we're not the same, we're very far apart, we really can't get together. This is not the tachlis. The tachlis is to celebrate what you have in common. Is two halves of the Shabbos come together. That's the tachlis. It's so stupid. This is not the place to celebrate individuality. One has to be aware of it in order to have shalom bayis. So it's like an irony in the sense that there has to be pirud, but there has to be an appreciation. The kulanu b'yavechad banu. So I want to show you something. The Rav Levi Yitzchak Berditchover, who doesn't need my haskam, but he was a very, very deep man. A big Talmud Chacham, Berditchover, the Kedushas Levi. So he says here, this is what I'll learn with you a little piece. He speaks about, at the end of the Kedushas Levi, where he finishes with the Parshas, he has a 3 pages, maybe, Pirush Haggados. It explains different Haggados and Shas. Famous, maybe one of the most famous Gemaras in the world, famous stories in the world is where Ba Ger Lifnei Hillel, and he said he wanted to be Megayer, important to remember. He wanted to be Megayer, that was the context here. Ger, Ba Ger Lifnei, he wasn't a Ger, but he wanted to be Megayer, so he's called a Ger. Ger Shabbat Leis Gayer, that's the lashon of the Gemara. Ger Shabbat Leis Gayer. You're called a Ger, but you want to be Megayer. He comes and he says, teach me the whole Torah while I'm standing on one foot. And Hillel, of course, says, what's his lashon over here? Madasani l'cha l'chaverecha lois saved. V'idach perusha zil gemar. Don't do unto others what you don't want them to do to you. Zil gemar, now learn. So, Frank the Berditchover, was this Abbas what he was telling him, or was he giving him some kind of a new age idea that just be nice to people and don't do unto others what you don't want them to do to you? Why would he choose this as the, it's Hillel we're talking about. Why would he choose this as the mitzvah that says everything is in this mitzvah? Or Rabbi Akiva said, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." It's a klal gadol b'Torah. It would be medayik. Learn like a lamdan the word klal. Yeah, this is important. This is a big one. Was that klal means the kol el hakol. That's what the word means. The word means klal uprat to klal. It's kol el hakol. So is that klal gadol b'Torah? Everything's licked in the v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. So is it true? Is it? So it's true on one level. It's not true on another level. It's another famous story. I think Dr. Tversky was sitting next to somebody once somewhere. And he said to him, "You're Jewish. You're a rabbi. You're a doctor." He said to him, "I've studied this." And he said that I know the whole Judaism can be all put into one sentence. So he says, yeah. So he says, yeah, don't do unto others what you don't want to do to you. Everything else is commentary. This Maven understood. So Tversky said to him, so what do you do in the conversation? He said, what do you do? He says, I'm a professor of astronomy. He says, I get astronomy I have down clear. I can put it all into one sentence. So he says, yeah. So he says, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay. So, like, if you take it on a superficial level, it's silly. So as the Berditchover, don't look at it like that. Look at it as something very, very deep. Let me tell you. Let me just read a few lines here. Nira, he says, it seems to me. When we went to Har Sinai, when we stood at Har Sinai, humans stood at Har Sinai, we heard not the 10 Commandments, we heard the first two. The Gemara says already that all of the Essen, mitzvahs essay, are nichlal in Anoichi, in the first of the 10 Commandments, and all of the lois essays are nichlal in the loy yelecha. Now, again, are we to take this seriously? How do you get tzitzis into Anoichi Hashem Elokecha? How do you get Avodah Zarah? I understand. Lo yelecha lo yimacher al panai. How do you get not to eat Ivrim Anachai? How do you get that from lo yelecha? But the Gemara says that already. The Gemara says that all the Essen are Anoichi, and that's really all we needed to hear. All we needed to hear from HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'atzmai is two things: Anoichi Hashem Elokecha lo yelecha v'zil Gemara. And the rest is commentary. So understand the rest of the 10 Commandments are commentary on the first two. All the mitzvahs are commentary on the 10 Commandments. That's why there's 613 letters in the 10 Commandments. Everything is nichlal, and it all comes down to anoichi and lo yelecha. So chol haTorah nichlal ba. Why? How can it be? The chol haTorah tameha l'rames ba'achdus habayir. Because at the end of the day, all of the Torah is all to bring out one thing, Achdus Habayir. Now, I have to tell you, you take a deep sefer, you have to read it over 8-10 times until you finally chop what he's saying. Because everything's Achdus Habayir, if you say so. Why is everything Achdus Habayir? It sounds like a Hasidic thing to say. It's so poshut that it's that way, because what does it mean to do Avodas Hashem? It means that that He's the one, He's the only one, and I'm worshiping. The minute that there's some other koach, so then I don't do this mitzvah, I do that mitzvah. I'm worshiping the sun, I'm worshiping the moon. So when you worship Avodah Zarah, Chas v'shalom, it's not the pshat you're doing an Aver, you're taking away from the Einoid Milvada. If there's only one Hashem, and I'm worshiping Avodah Zarah, so what are you doing? So not just Avodah Zarah, but whenever I do a losa, say when I'm not listening to you. So if I'm not listening to you and I'm eating basar b'cholov or I'm eating dam, so I'm just in principle I'm not listening to you, meaning that there's some other koach. I'm somehow not believing that everything comes down to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? It's not such a difficult thing to understand. So all of the essay and all the lois essay and all of the mitzvahs of the Torah and everything that it says in there really come down to, if you'll think about it deeply, it all comes down to one thing: Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. So. V'chol tamei merubazim kedei shebehem yeh nikar shanachnu meshubadim v'oivdim la'bayir v'rechu. You wear tzitzis, you don't eat blood. Everything is to show that I'm an eved Hashem. I'm meshubah to the one, the only one. Umilvad shal pi soid merubazim kol hamitzvos al achdus habayir v'rechu. Besides for the fact that in Kabbalah, says the Berditchover, you'll find that all the mitzvahs are touched up. Al pi achdus Hashem. He says, but I'll show you something else. I'm a sefer achinuch lahara. Take a look at the Sefer HaChinuch, Litvisher Sefer, Shekos of Tamei HaMitzvahs, HaKol Al Achdus HaBarei B'Rechu. Every single mitzvah comes down to Achdus Hashem. If you read the Sefer HaChinuch, it comes out, and therefore we are showing that we are Meshuvah to Hashem. Bris Milah, we're showing. Everything we're showing. Essay and Lois say. B'shanachnu Elav Mishubadim V'Oivdim. V'lachein, and that's why it sufficed for us to hear Anoichi v'lo yelecha mipi hagvura, ki Anoichi v'lo yelecha heimatami kol haTorah. It means to say that it's not just somehow with gematria that Anoichi and Lo Yelecha have all the mitzvahs merubas, and then Anoichi and Lo Yelecha are two statements about the Achdus Hashem. And all mitzvahs have to do with the Achdus Hashem ultimately. Ultimately, we're showing that we're Meshubit Loi V'Loi Acher. Zeu ma shamer Chazal po vaydaber Elokim is called Dvarim Ha'elu Lamar. Okay, brings your eyes. Let's take his word for it. I want to get to the point. However, halo yadua ki kol ha-mitzvah shel Torah nischal kol shnei dvarim. There's two kinds of mitzvahs. Besides for Esa and Loisa say, there's Beinam l'malchim and Beinam l'chavera. Echad ha-mitzvah shebein Yisrael la'avinu sheba shemayim. Gegoin tzitzis, tefillin, karbonos, v'chol ha-mitzvahs. Yesh mitzvah shebeinam l'chavera. Ein klum l'chavera hafta l'reacha kamoicha. Omer Rabbi Akiva, zeh klal gadol b'Torah. How does that work? So somehow you have to work out that all the mitzvahs benam l'chaveroi, that I should walk an old lady across the street, I should return an aveda, I should be ethical. All of those things also somehow have to be state in Anoichi Hashem Elokecha lo yelecha. Since I understand, but how do I understand Hashem's Aveda? How does that fit into Anoichi and Lo Yelecha? Sharei Anoichi Lo Yelecha mipi Agvur Shemana. We didn't hear Anoichi Lo Yelecha and Kibbut Avein and Lo Zigzal. We didn't know. It all has to fit into Anoichi and Lo Yelecha. V'chol atar nichlo behen va'avar lecha. Shegam heim nichlolim ba'achdus haBarbrichu shahaloi kol adas Yisrael maminim. Because what it comes down to is how does it work? Everybody believes hakol maminim she'el echad branu, that we were created by one Hashem. There's only one God. B'chol Yisrael ke'echad, and when you put all of Klal Yisrael together and know this Yesod, underlinable Yesod, nikra Knesses Yisrael. Whenever you see the lashon Chazal Knesses Yisrael, it refers to the neshama achas that we all came from, Knesses Yisrael, Knesses Yisrael. V'zois nikra Shechina in Kabbalah, that's called the Shechina, meaning Knesses Yisrael is the manifestation of Tzelem Elokim in this world. But Nimtza comes out, Kishanachnu banu, here's the key sentence, Kishanachnu banu mimachatzav echad, since we all come from one mold, Kishiesh le'echad sar, margish gam chaveroi. If being that we all came organically from one neshama, from one mold, so since we have one mold, so obviously, if you're sensitive and open to it, you will feel the pain of another person. Why? Unless you'll say there's two gods. If you say there's two gods, maybe one created me, one created you. But the fact that the circle here goes, cycle I should say, goes that the fact that we can feel the pain of each other is a raya that we're all connected. We're all connected because Hashem did one thing. He created Adam. Then he took Adam and created Chava from Adam. So it all comes back to that Adam. So the achdus of the world, of the population of the world, is moira on the achdus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Understand this. Echad k'sheish le'echad sar margish gam chaverei k'may adam echad k'shekoyev loy ever echad. As we know, that just like one person who has a finger ache, margish kol ha'guf sar, the whole body is uncomfortable. V'kimin shekel echad baranu v'nishmas Yisrael boin mimachatzav echad. And echad and all of the neshamas came from one mold. Kishiesh le'echad sar gam chaverei margish. Kishiesh le'echad Yisrael simcha gam chaverei margish b'simcha. So it comes out that if I can feel somebody else's pain, if I can feel somebody else's joy, then at that point I'm talking about the fact, why do I feel your pain? I feel your pain because we come from the same neshama. Why do we come from the same neshama? Because we all come from Adam Rishon. Who made him? Kadosh Baruch Hu. So ultimately, there is no other parallel thing going on in this world. Somebody else was created in Ethiopia at the same time, and there's a whole thing coming out from him to know. It's all one thing, kel echad. So here's the gewaldige chiddush of Hillel. Hillel didn't say, don't do unto others what you don't want them to do to you in the sense that, like, if you're in pain, if you don't want to feel pain, don't cause somebody else pain. Well, why the heck not? I'm not feeling the pain. Okay, be a nice person. Is that what he was telling you? He was saying no. If you feel pain, so understand that when you cause somebody else's pain, that's causing you pain, even if you don't feel it. Because you don't feel it, because you become desensitized to it. If you just like you have pain for your, this is what Hillel was teaching. He was teaching a deep yesod here. Hillel, he was teaching a deep yesod that if just like you feel pain for your pain, understand that you're going to feel pain for your extremity also. So if you want to understand, teach me all of the Torah while I'm standing on one foot. He could have said to him, okay, I'll teach it to you. I could tell you something better. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. But let me give you, says Hillel, a very practical illustration. That the pain is shared. The simcha is shared. And if you don't feel it, that means that you've disconnected yourself from the cloud. Very bad to disconnect yourself from the cloud, because then you're a red herring swimming in the wrong direction, and the whole idea is to bring everything back together again. It would be like a couple, swimming in two different directions. There's no inyan here. The whole inyan is to be ma'achid in the neshamas. That's the avodah of Mashiach. So says the Berditchover that let's turn it in reverse. You want to feel like a human? You want to feel like a Jew? So understand the connection of Hashem Echad. If there's the connection of Hashem Echad, so then automatically work to feel the pain of another person. Because the pain is there. So sensitize yourself to the pain that's already there. Sensitize yourself to the joy. If you can't feel somebody else's joy, there's something wrong with you. You've amputated yourself from the klal, and then the whole Torah is missing, because the whole Torah comes down to this Echad. And that's what Rabbi Akiva meant when he said Zeklal Gadol B'Torah. So this was the Eitzah Amoka. I want to actually finish tomorrow this week, because it's a very, very beautiful beautiful essay of the Berditchover. If you have it, you should, don't rely on me. I should read it. The last page of the Kedushas Levi. It's the Nakuda is, and maybe the Makar is the Ramak, but the Ramak brings some very, very clear examples of it. For instance, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebezev. So Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebezev. You think about the I could be Motzi Yuna and Kiddush. You didn't make Kiddush. I'm going to Motzi you and Kiddush. I can Motzi you and Tkiyah shofar. You're supposed to blow the shofar. Why am I blowing the shofar for you? So Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebezev means not that there's some kind of a chiddush that I can do it for you, and it's not even a chiddush that one is responsible. Lashon of Hareva is usually responsible, but it's ke'anfei hareva. Rashi says it's like a basket is woven together. Hareva is a basket, and if you take one piece of straw out of the basket, it has no significance at all. You can't carry anything with it. You can't do anything with it. In fact, if you'd see it in the street, you wouldn't even see it as a chelik in a basket. It's an insignificant thing. It's only significant when it all comes together as an areva. That's the only thing that makes it significant. So Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebazeh means that a Jew gone astray is not just separating himself from other people. You're not a nice person, you're not a good part of society. It's much deeper than that. Kol Yisrael Arevim, if you've gone astray, then you've become an insignificant part of the beautiful woven basket of mankind, which all comes from one place. And one place is Adam Arishan, which was all created by one creator, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this extrapolation that we're saying now, all is written in the two words of Hillel, where he says Zil Gemara. Wrap your head around the idea that we're all connected. This is the Ger Habali Yiskayer. What does he want? He wants to become part of something. Ger Habali Yiskayer wants to become part of something. Wrap your head around the fact that what you're becoming part of is all part of Hashem Echad U'Shma Echad. That's what it is. Hence the Tomer Devorah.
What is the story of Rabbi Akiva in the desert with enough water just for one person? Where does that fit into all of this? Because he's...
Where does Chayecha come?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to prioritize between your heart and your hand, what would you do?
Right. Your heart, obviously.
Right. In other words, you say, okay, either amputate your arm right now, or you're going to die.
Right.
the Chayach HaKodim.
So really, the Torah, because it wouldn't be in the Torah.
What you really have to say, like, what's even the question?
Right, right,
Why would I give the water to somebody else?
right.
Because that's also me.
Is this a pshat in the Cook writes in a lot of times that Nishma Klalit?
That's what Mamish what he means. He also doesn't bring a source. Now he writes a lot of times. That's one of the ikar theme of the Boros.
Just trying to understand it for
Of
a
course,
long
it's
time.
of course, it's of course, he goes so far with it. He's saying that the neshama totally has to do shuvah besides for the neshama yachid. The oris of shuvah. In the beginning, it's mind-boggling. Even on that, you have to even do shuvah on that level.
It means to say that
This was Rav Kook, by the way. I think the ikar of chiddush of Rav Kook in all of the oros is that he went from the avodah of the individual to the avodah saklal. Okay, let's go back even one step further. He basically, Rav Kook wrote that there's no difference. I have this letter where somebody asked him, he says, there's no difference between me and Rav Tzadok, except that it's the same thing, except Rav Tzadok's talking about the individual neshama, and I'm talking about the neshama of no difference between us. It's like, so heads Israel, Medinas Israel, Gulas Israel, all of his thinking comes from
so that maybe explains
how it all becomes political.
somebody once said that whereas you have a people that are made out of a million pieces that make up the cloud, but Am Yisrael is different because it's the cloud. We're not a million pieces made up into one. We're one piece that is a conglomeration. I don't know what the word is, but
Making a puzzle.
is all the little pieces, but it's not all the pieces that make one. It's